13 nations have signed a WF treaty agreeing to dismantle and rebuild major cities under the guise of the so-called Agenda 2030. Using climate change as the ultimate cover, the WF has set the stage for a devastating attack on everyday people. Their endgame? To reshape urban landscapes into 50-minute cities, vast open-air prisons where freedom is a relic of the past and escape is no longer an option. This isn't a distant dystopian fantasy, it's happening now, and the grisly details of their long-planned operation are coming to light. Stay with us as we connect the dots, uncover the evidence, and expose the truth they tried so hard to keep hidden. Before we dive in, join the People's Voice Locals community if you haven't already, and sign up to become a member of the world's first ever cyber nation that truly believes in life, liberty, and the pursuit of your dreams. Visit joson.com and click the Join Us button today. It's completely free. Picture this: 13 of the world's most populous nations signing a shadowy WF treaty that paves the way for tearing down major cities, literally levelling them to the ground, all in the name of Agenda 2030. Their goal? To eliminate private car use, redesign neighbourhoods into so-called 15-minute cities, and transform our urban spaces into what critics are calling open-air prisons. But here's the kicker. They plan to do it by faking natural disasters and terrorist attacks, manufacturing chaos to devastate entire cities while blaming it all on climate change. It's a masterstroke of deception, traumatizing the population into submission and using the ashes of our broken cities to build their utopian smart cities. If you think this sounds far-fetched, stay tuned. We've got the details, the evidence, and the connections the elites don't want you to make. After calling us conspiracy theorists for warning about 50-minute cities, the mainstream media is now dropping the pretense, openly reporting plans for these dystopian zones where people are confined to their districts, unable to leave without permission.
After 3 years of planning, city administration is presenting its vision to accommodate a population of 2 million people through 15-minute cities. 3 days of public hearings on the plan began at City Hall this morning. Shailen Skulski has more.
The 15 new district plans and corresponding bylaws will replace 54 existing planning documents dating back to the 1980s. Administration says the goal is to accommodate 600,000 new residents in redeveloped areas, with 50% of all new home units added through infill. The plan also calls for half of all future travel to be done by transit, and for residents to access all their daily needs within 15 minutes.
Just wait. CBDCs and the social credit system are next on the mainstream media checklists. This is more than just a theory, it's a blueprint for control. According to Klaus Schwab, by 2030 Los Angeles will be completely free of private cars. The city is set to be radically transformed, with wilderness areas replacing roads, where humans once drove and populations confined to so-called open-air prisons with no way out.
It was the 20th Governance Summit. You will use the app like Uber, but not anymore to call some driver, but an automatically guided car, a self-driven car, will come to your hotel or wherever you are and will bring you to the airport. No, Los Angeles is one of the cities with the heaviest traffic, who told me in 2030 Los Angeles will be private car driven free. And this will allow to transform highways into parks and other public spheres.
The global elite earmarks Los Angeles as the world's first smart city, and plans have been in the works for years to achieve the rapid transformation to Klaus Schwab's 2030 vision in time for the Olympic Games in 2028, when the city will be presented to the world as a model for the future of humanity. The residents of Pacific Palisades sense it. Something is undeniably wrong. Anybody paying attention with eyes wide open knows that. Actor Eddie Griffin says the elite have been preparing for the Los Angeles Pacific Palisades fires for 3 to 6 months before the fire hit. Somebody knew it was coming, and they wanted to make sure the neighborhood was completely destroyed.
I heard they fired over 60% of the firemen's staff 3 to 6 months before the fire hit, so somebody knew it was coming and wanted to make sure that the houses they wanted burned down. Google 2028 is going to say Los Angeles smart city. So the best way to get a smart city is by burning out all the residences, and then you can start fresh and build a fucking smart city. This is what the your government is doing to you. They don't give a fuck about us. As Michael Jackson said, all I want to say is they don't give a fuck about us. And another goddamn thing, State Farm. State Farm canceled fire protection on homes 3 months before the fire. Who tipped them off? Who keeps tipping off motherfuckers that a natural disaster is about to happen?
13 countries, including the US, Australia, Brazil, Germany, Spain and Uruguay, have agreed to engineer a controlled demolition of their major population centres, one after the other, while simultaneously waging war on the agricultural industry worldwide to usher in starvation and famine for humanity. Part of the global methane pledge, by the way, involves transitioning the world from eating real foods like beef and chicken to instead consuming crickets and insect larvae, which are toxic and non-nutritious to humans. As you can clearly see with the rampant inflation in recent years, which appears to be hyperinflation in slow motion, we are reaching a point where meat and quality food will become unaffordable for the average person. Many people will have no choice but to eat bugs, insects and crickets, assuming they want to continue living in such a corrupted world, as London mayoral candidate Cheyenne Batra explains.
The 15-minute cities is something that the WEF has created called C40, and it's called C40 cities. I would urge you to certainly look on the internet about it and then go to all of the TikTokers and see what they're really saying. Basically, you won't be able to drive a petrol or diesel car anymore. You'll have to buy electric. If you want food, you will get a calorie-controlled system sent to you by text saying, this is what you can eat today. This is what you can have today. If you violate any of these things, they'll freeze your bank account. That is the next step. These are stages in which they're going to implement this stuff. And this was signed up by the WEF, and the WEF has signed up with our mayor in London as the chair. And he has gone around the world to communicate this C40 to all of the countries in the world. And most of the countries are looking at adopting it. Now, I am going to abolish it. It is a hopeless position. We are going to be in an open prison, or shall we say a COVID, for all the rest of our lives. We will not be able to work unless it's in our 15-minute city. It's diabolical. It's not a right. This is not the right thing. And it's been hidden from the public. No one's talking about it.
Why does the government prioritise globalist interests over its own people? The 1871 Constitution may hold the answer, a truth recently exposed in a shocking Senate hearing.